Boo boo.
跟我们来来，我 next look like.
看着打当然是最快的。这样子可以吗？
我把它设成公开，意思是你可以直接搜寻到这里。他想要就是把那些直播增到 YouTube group 蓝 group。
我不知道这样会不会有用。
我点了，我点进去看看。
没用。
这应该不是我手机。
点什么事都没发生。我不知道怎么用。
So did we need to visual that? Anybody not come in today? They also get 0. So that's the time last week. We got 0. Alpha M E got 0. You got 1. Well, they might get zero, but it's quite hopeful. Well, stroll on, governor. Stroll on, governor. I'll just say no. Aha, you are. It's definitely no, that's not that. Roger says he's still trying to get there. If you're lucky, nobody will be here by 5:20. You can just improvise.
I can start.
Yeah.
Yay! 我根本就还没想好我要讲什么。
Is okay.
We're gonna time it for 5 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Do you wanna if you get to 4:30, if you want us to tell you 4:30?
I don't think I will reach 4:30.
All right, we'll tell you after 30 seconds.
Okay.
All right, go, come on.
So hi everyone.
Okay.
Hi everyone. My name is Kevin, and today I will be introducing 3 great films of my choice. And this presentation should last about 5 minutes, I hope. Yeah, and but before I start with my list, I would like to give you my 3 points of criteria. And one is that I have to enjoy the film, from the film to people who work behind the films, the screenplay, the writing, and such. And 2, I believe that the film should stand the test of time, meaning that you should be able to enjoy it from yesterday and still have still be entertained as much as you did the first time you see it. And thirdly, my third point is that uh, it cannot be some meaningless action movie or comedy. Yeah. So basically, any Marvel movie. Yeah. And I and now I would like to move on to my list, and I would like to kick it off with The Devil Wears Prada. I believe that it's a very popular film, and I believe that people have also read its novel. But I will only talk about the movie because it's not an adaptation of the novel. They progressed together. They filmed it while the writer was still writing. Okay, so at first sight, this film might just seem like a mad coworker dissing her boss in a movie, but if you actually delve into their scenes and savor their lines, and to go online and search for any videos that analyzes each scene, you would see that there is so much more to this movie. And for example, at last there was an iconic scene where Meryl Streep with Anne Hathaway, they were in their car going to Paris, and she took off her sunglasses and said, "Everyone wants to be us." But at first she was supposed to say that everybody wants to be me, but she thought that it did not fit her character, so she changed it while she was performing. And there are many other scenes that had a lot of same improvising like that one, and which is why I think this film is great, and it meets all three of my criteria. And the second movie is The Dark Knight, and some of you might argue that it's a superhero movie, so it does not meet up with my criteria, but it is The Dark Knight we're talking about, and it is so-called the best superhero movie of all time, even till today, after Avengers. And I believe it's great because it's a imperfect hero solving realistic problems while facing the greatest supervillain of all time, the Joker, and they were all being portrayed by great actors that brought the characters to life. So, this is why this movie is also on my list. Oh, okay. And then the last one is, I really like heist movies, but I couldn't narrow it down to one, so I just left it all in, and it's the Ocean series. And if you're familiar with this series, it's everything you want in a heist movie: the comedies, the guns, the actions, and everything you didn't think you wanted in a movie. It's the whole package. It's entertaining. It's great, and that is the end of my list. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask Johnny for more information. Thank you.
Okay, and Lily, could I pass time counting duties to Armand Dillon?
อันนี้
Okay.
อันนี้
I'll get named at 4:30. Can you just tell Diane 4:30? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, come on, let's give our man a bit of respect here. Next time.
Hello everyone, my name is Dylan and I'm from the Electrical Engineering Department. Today I would like to introduce 3 countries I consider to be the best place for a holiday, which are Spain, Japan and Taiwan. And I will also explain the reason why I choose them. This presentation will last about 5 minutes. If you have any questions, please interrupt me. So to begin with, the first country I would choose Spain. Spain is well known as one of the most famous countries for a holiday. Did anyone know about that? Please raise your hand. Okay, thank you, Pat. I didn't know that until last week. I Googled the tourist group website. And after a whole week of Google, I learned that Spain has many famous tourist spots, such as traditional architectures or natural beauties. And it has also many authentic cuisines, such as paella and many other dishes. I don't even know how to pronounce their name. So I think Spain culture is a total mystery. So I think it is very worth to take a look at least one time for a holiday. And the second country I would choose Japan. Japan is has a much more similar culture to Taiwan's in contrast, and it is also much more safer in security. So I think, yeah, Japan is also a very good choice to experience the feeling of going abroad at a lower cost, which means I can go time and time after and experience the feeling of long distance traveling, and that's why I choose Japan. And the last one, I would choose Taiwan. I mean, stay in Taiwan is a very good choice. So we don't need to worry about language barrier. We don't need to worry about the cultural gap. And if you happens to meet some emergency cases, such as you got hurt or something, you don't need to be panicked because Taiwan has a very good healthcare system. And additionally, traveling in Taiwan is also a good way to support our local tourism industry. So I think staying in Taiwan is a very good choice for short holidays. And that's all I want to say. To summarize, I think I have gave the most common reasons to travel to these 3 countries. Spain is because it is a total mystery, so it draws my curiosity. And Japan is a good way to experience long distance travel. And Taiwan is a convenient place to spend your short holidays. So wish everyone a happy holiday. Thank you.
Really, that's very nice.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. My name is Navy, and today I would like to give you a general overview of three great films. So I've divided my presentation into three objectives, which are The Pursuit of Happiness, Fast and Furious, and Big Hero 6. So the presentation should last about 5 minutes. Yeah. And I'm happy to take any questions after that. So first of all, I would like to begin with The Pursuit of Happiness. So it's a 2006 American biography drama film directed by Gabriel Marchino and starring Will Smith and his son for the main character. So the main reason why I like about this movie is it illustrates the harsh reality nowadays, but also have like heartwarming scenes, such as giving like encouraging statements to his son. And also it gives a message that everyone has their right to chase after their dreams. And only you can define what happiness is to you. So don't listen to others. And additionally, I love the interactions throughout the whole movie. And there are several important life lessons that Will Smith had taught to his son throughout the movie. So that's the general picture for The Pursuit of Happiness. And a side note that I won't spoil much about the movie because I want you guys to actually watch it and feel the scenes that the producer want to provide, like illustrate to you. Yeah. So now let's move on to the second movie, which is Fast and Furious. It's like just one movie. It's like a movie series, and it has like a lot of like fascinating cars, and I believe that everyone has watched at least one of them, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's a American action movie since 2001, and the reason why I love this series is because of their fascinating cars, yeah, and those cool like actions, like film like add-ons and explosive film effects, and which are very stress relieving, like first of all. And the second is the morals of this movie, which is the friend and family friendship is what clicked into me. So in this movie, there's a quote that states, if there's one thing that Dom believes in even more than cars, it's family. And that illustrates how important is between like their bonds between each other. So if you have both, then you're a life winner. Yeah. And so all the fascinating actions and touching family relationships are what hooked me into these series and kept me watching until the 8th. I haven't watched the 9. Yeah, that's a shame. And that's complete my overview of Fast and Furious. So we've looked at The Pursuit of Happiness and Fast and Furious, and now let's move on to the last one, which is the animated movie, Big Hero 6. So it's a 2014 computer produced animated superhero film and produced by Walt Disney. And the theme, friendship and the moral of violence isn't the nature state of humanity, are what drew me into this movie. So the idea of life goes on is essential for this fast-paced world. So finding a proper balance between like outlet, finding a balance and outlet for like tragic events with the help of friends and family is an important life lessons that everyone should learn. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. So to sum up, I suggest 3 movies: The Pursuit of Happiness, Fast and Furious, and Big Hero 6. The morals and relationships between characters are what brought me, and that's what the reason why I indicated those as great films. And I would like to conclude by strongly recommending watching a lot of movies, like especially the ones I introduced to you, and actually dig deeper into those movies and trying to dig what is behind the true moral and theme that the producer want to indicate to us. Yeah. And thank you for your attention. I'd like to take any questions if you'd like to ask.
Very nice. Can you send her a message to say that? Because you just got a message from Phoebe, didn't you? I've got one.
怎么办？很丢脸。
Like a live streaming show you don't need a PC desktop. All right, and somebody please kind of Ali? Josh, can you do that? When you get to 4:30, tell Ali. 4:30, Ali, everybody. To be fair, right? Kevin asked me, can I use my notes? And I said no. You shouldn't be using notes. Okay, so Ali, I'm really sorry to say no, and I didn't know you were going to do that. Okay, so no notes, no anything. Just go, just try it. Ali, can we give a round of applause for this?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ellie, and I'm here today to introduce 3 kinds of nice snacks I eat recently, and all of them are near NCKU. So if you don't get a motorcycle, you can get there too. And so we all know that deciding what to eat is one of the most difficult tasks. So it could be a reference for you. And the presentation will last for about 5 minutes. So if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt me. So so let's move on. The first nice snacks restaurant I want to introduce is Hapang, and because I choose it because I ate it yesterday and the day before yesterday, so it's like one of the choices that when I don't know what to eat, and I will go there. And I think the smoked chicken egg pancake is quite good. And if you are really hungry, you can order the noodle. It's like very big. But just be cautious that don't order the strawberry taro egg pancake. The flavor is really weird. You will regret it if you order one. And so let's move on to a second food I want to introduce is Taiwanese fried chicken. So there are like many vendors around here, and I've tried many of them, and I think the best one is on the Linsen Road, and because it's not expensive and it's good. So if you don't know how to eat, you might try like different different vendors around here. And the last one I want to talk about is McDonald's because it's convenient and it has a variety of food that you can choose. But I want to complain it today because a few weeks ago and I ordered a box of chicken nuggets, and inside the chicken nuggets there are a piece of bone. It's disgusting. And from that day till now, I have never ordered chicken nuggets again. And also, as the prices rise these days, and before the price rise, it was already very expensive. And after the price rise, it's like not affordable for me. I'm really poor, and now I want to share a creepy fact about the McDonald's on the Dasher Road. Like 3 years ago, there's a guy who died accidentally in the washroom. That's true. So, but despite all the disadvantages of McDonald's, when I couldn't think of any things to eat, I still go there. So, in conclusion, if you like, so we can know that there are not much choices around here for next snacks. So I hope all of you can can decide like what to eat for every day. Thank you very much.
Ooh. Yeah? Okay.
Gentlemen, come on, Mr. Winnett, come on.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. I'm Willis, and I'm here to introduce 3 best restaurants in my city. I'll be addressing 3 main points through my presentation. Firstly, I'll briefly introduce the 3 restaurants, and secondly, I will introduce the best dishes of them, and finally, I will share some special features of them. The presentation will last about 5 minutes, and feel free to leave for the bathroom at any time. And if you have any questions, I'll be grateful if you leave them until the end. So I'll start by briefly introducing these 3 restaurants. The first one is Kanding Tu Jichen. It's a chicken restaurant on the only road to Guanzilin. Attraction famous for its mud hot spring, which is in old Tainan County. And the second one would be the Yuanwei on Yule Street. And compared to the first one, it is much near. It is very near to our school and also to my high school as well. So I've been there many times, and it has been my favorite. And the third one would be the Shishishang in Xinguang Mitsukoshi. It is a chain restaurant, but it is always my first choice when me and my family are going for a big meal. I think it is the best restaurant ever. So we've talked about the brief introduction of these restaurants. Now let's talk about their best dishes. For the chicken restaurant Kantin Tujichen, the best dish will be the roasted chicken. Their roasted chicken are roasted with a bamboo stick through it and a huge furnace under it. And the huge furnace can roast like 4 whole chickens at the same time. So the furnace actually makes it very, very tasty with huge fire in it, and that's why I love it. And for the Yuanwei, the best dish would be tonkatsu set, and I always order it when I go there. Because the tonkatsu goes so well with the rice and the side dishes, and I love eating. It can satisfy my hunger well, but without being too greasy. Yeah, and for the Shishishang, I think the best dish would be the braised pork, which is 哈婆红烧肉 in Chinese, and the meat is so chewy, juicy, sweet, and a little salty, and it makes it go really incredibly well with rice. And me, as a fanatic of rice, I love this dish so much. And now we've talked about the brief introduction and the best dishes of these restaurants. Now I will share some special features of these restaurants. So for the Kantin Tujichen, because it is located in the mountains, so the chickens there are fed on the mountains, where they can just run everywhere, and it makes their meat much more chewy than other chicken restaurants, and it is why it makes them so special, and makes them so different of others. Yeah, and for Yuanwei, the main reason I love it and the most special thing is that you can eat as much rice and drinks as possible without extra price. And I usually end up eating too much after eating there. And for the Shishishang, I think the most special thing of it is there are 3 kinds of rice in it that you can choose, and you can eat as much as possible. And the coolest thing is that you can even change the type of rice during meal. And in addition, all of the dishes there are designed to go well with rice. And me, as a fanatic, I love rice so much, so I love that restaurant very, very much. So I think this brings me to the end of presentation. To summarize, I'll run through my 3 main points. First, we've talked about my favorite restaurant, where they are and what they called. Next, I talk about their best dishes and how I love them. And last but not least, I also share some special features of them. I'll conclude by strongly recommending you to eat and enjoy these restaurants, and I'm pretty sure you won't regret. So I think that's all of my presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Johnny, and I'm from Electrical Engineering Department in NCKU. Today, I'm going to tell you about 3 kinds of food that I really like to eat or drink. I would like to start with eel noodles, and then it would be winter melon tea, and last one will be chocolate cereal. And the presentation should last about 5 minutes. Please feel free to interrupt me if you have any question. Okay, let's start with my presentation. First of all, I like to eat eel noodles, and we call it 鳝鱼意面 in Chinese. And I think a bowl of good eel noodles should include crispy eels and sweet soup. Sadly, the restaurants in Taidong didn't and has neither of these requirements. But luckily, I'm in Thailand now. All of the restaurants here offer sweet soup, and if it also provides crispy eels, I will add it into my bucket list. But I won't share the list with you because I want to eat delicious eel noodles myself. Let's move on to the next one. The second food I like is winter melon tea. I think some of you know that I really like sweet drinks, and winter melon tea meets my needs so well. I used to buy winter melon bricks, add some water and boil it. After cooling it, I can add milk or lemonade or green tea into it, or I can just drink it alone. And all of them are so sweet, and they can make me be in a good mood. And let's move on to the last one. And my last favorite food is chocolate cereal. It is simply made by adding milk into a bowl of chocolate chips. There are 2 ways to eat chocolate cereal. The first one is eating it as soon as you add the milk into the bowl, and you will get crispy chips and fresh milk. And the other one is soaking the chips in milk for a few minutes. And this way, you will get soft chips and a bowl of sweet chocolate milk. Both are really delicious. And this is the last food of my presentation. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. To summarize, I like to eat eel noodles with crispy eel and sweet soup, and then there comes winter melon tea. For the last one is chocolate cereal. To conclude, if you like sweet food, I would recommend you to eat this food because it's really sweet, and I think you will not regret to try it. And that's the end of my presentation. Thanks for attention.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Melody from the Electrical Engineering Department. My objective today is to share you 2 great films and 1 great book I've watched and read before. So the presentation should last about 5 minutes. And if you want to take a break or just leave the classroom, just feel free to go. So first of all, I would like to talk about the movie About Time. It is about a story of a family with the superpower of time travel. And the leading role in this movie used to take full advantage of this power to redo or change whatever he wants to do just to meet his demands, like pursuing the girl he likes. However, in the end of the movie, the boy learned that it is no use traveling back in time just to redo everything right. He said, we're all traveling through time together in our lives. All we have to do is do our best to relish this remarkable ride. And that refers that we should just be more focusing on the present and enjoy every moment. The next one I want to share is the book called To Kill a Mockingbird, written by Harper Lee. And the story illustrates an unfair society in a small town in America. And the storyline goes with the viewpoint of a little girl. Although this book actually mentions a lot of aspects of life, yet the one that struck me the most is how black people can be so vulnerable on the court. No matter how hard the little girl's father defend for the innocent black defendant, they still lost so poorly in the end. And the mockingbird in the book title is a metaphor of the weakness one, which in this case, the black defendant. Another prominent storyline of this book is a man living near the little girl's house. And kind-hearted as he is, even saved the little girls and her brother in the end of the story. Out of some reasons, a lot of people just make a lot of rumors about him and say he's a weird guy. So in the end, from this book, the most important value I learned is that I should always put myself in other people's shoes, and I should not take advantages out of others' shortages. Also, it is always better to understand others before judging them. So finally, let's move on to my last one, which is a short series called The Queen's Gambit. Compared with the former novel, this film is actually quite contemporary. And I also read the novel version of it, but I like the film version a lot better. The leading role, Beth, is a girl, and she has proved that she can lead a special life by just trusting the truth within herself, as well as surrounding herself with the people who are supporting her. And although Beth has got a quite miserable life, quite miserable journey in the beginning of her childhood, she still found herself continuously surrounded by people who believe in her, supporting her, and giving her the strength to face her opponent. She even has shown great perseverance in playing her chess better and better, and eventually reached the World Chess Championship. So overall, I think these 2 films and 1 book have brought a lot of deep insight into life. And I think I would like to conclude by strongly recommending you to watch these 2 films and book, which is respectively About Time, To Kill a Mockingbird, and The Queen's Gambit. So that's pretty much about my presentation today. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My presentation is going to be about 3 great movies. To understand what makes a movie great, I think we should all know that a movie is basically composed with 2 parts, script and direction. What script means is what the story is about, what the plot is about, the characters, and overall the why and where and when things happen. And what direction means is that how the characters do so, like how the man behind the camera, like shows how the character do some things, and overall can to craft a picture for a story. And today I'm going to share with you 3 critically acclaimed movies. One with a great script, one with a great direction, and the last one I'm gonna end with a movie that I think had both. The first movie for me is Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is a movie that had very great characters, some touching moments, and also a great message about having a good heart over brains or talent. But when you ask critics about what makes a movie great, nobody's gonna tell you how great the direction is. Like, it doesn't mean that the director did anything wrong per se, but it's nothing special compared to some of the movies I'm about to mention. What makes a story great is the characters, is Forrest Gump, is Tom Hanks overcoming difficulties despite his disabilities. And for me, that's a great movie, but the direction for it is just mediocre at best. And I think Tom Hanks' performance kind of carried that movie and won him an Oscar for that. The second movie for me is the first Avengers movie, which had a pretty simple storyline, which isn't really a bad thing. But all of it could be boiled down to the bad guys coming from space, and they're going to invade Earth. And the heroes of Earth, must protect their homeland, and we all know they're going to win at the end. But it's fine, because people don't watch Marvel movies for the script anyway. People watch Marvel movies for the special effects, for the fight scenes, for the cinematic moments. And Joss Whedon is a master of doing so. Joss Whedon made Iron Man, Hulk, and Captain America, and so many other characters feel real in the big screen, which many tried before him but failed because, come on, it's a comic book, it's hard to be realistic. But it's a direction for me that made the first Avengers so memorable, and why it is still one of the best movies in the MCU. Last movie for me is Inception, which, for those who don't know, is about that movie about time and dreams. And it had both a great script about Leonardo DiCaprio trying to find his old wife and great direction. For me to say that is because the reason for me to say that is that the script is kind of unique in its own way. Like, sure, there's movies about husbands trying to find their wives or wives trying to find their husbands, but none of which contained a dream whirlwind, a dream adventure, hoping from time to time. And yeah, the concept itself is pretty unique, which is, for me, is what makes it such a great movie and such a great script in the first place. But other than the script, the direction is also phenomenal. Like, there are scenes in that movie that were just out of the people's imagination at that time. There's a scene in the hallway where, like, they're inside this guy's dream, and the guy is having a headache or whatever. So the surrounding of them are just shaking around and moving in circles. And the characters inside them have to figure a way out to walk forward so they can escape the dream of the guy's head. And which is amazing. Like, nobody could ever shoot that perfectly as Christopher Nolan. And that's about it for my presentation. Fucking 95 minutes.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jimmy, and today I would like to introduce you to 3 great restaurants around NCKU. This presentation will last for around 4 minutes, and if you have any questions, I would be glad if you save them for later. The first restaurant I would like to talk about is 成功烧腊便当. Its price is around $80, and you get a boxed lunch of a bowl of rice, 2 main dishes, and 3 garnishes. If you choose to dine in, you can also get free soup and drink. What I love about it the most is its fire meat. Well, fire meat is basically just a 3-layered meat, but the top layer is roasted so crispy that you feel like you're eating a very thick layer of chip, which is very interesting. The second restaurant I would like to talk about is 石火山. It is, compared to the last restaurant, it is a bit, actually way more expensive. It's around like $200. However, you get a full bowl of meat, rice, and grilled vegetables. I actually love it for 2 reasons. The first is that you get free chicken soup. And the chicken soup is very hot, and it actually tastes pretty sweet. Another thing is that its vegetables are all grilled, and you can smell the smoke when eating the vegetables, and it is not like other boiled vegetables. The last restaurant I want to talk about is 大肥鸭. It is around $100. However, I only like 大肥鸭 for one reason, it's because it's $65 smoked duck set. You get a bowl of smoked duck rice, 3 garnishes, a braised egg, and a full bowl of soup for merely $65. And I consider it worth going simply because of this dish. So I have introduced 3 restaurants I think worth going to around NCKU. To be honest, I think it's really hard to choose just 3 of them, since Tainan is really a city of delicacies, and I consider there are many restaurants that are worth going to. I do think that everyone should go around NCKU and find more delicious restaurants. Thank you for listening.
Okay. You can go home right now. 下课. Okay. Okay. Hello everyone. I'm Tom from Mechanical Engineering Department. And today I'm going to give you a general overview of my busy and tiring week. Yes. So I'll start with my chemistry test this Monday, and later I'll move on to the accidentally announced calculus quiz today, and the very hard statics tomorrow. Yeah, so oh, thanks a lot. And so if you have any question, please feel free to ask me during the presentation. Okay. First, I'm going to talk about my chemistry test. In the chemistry test, the range is covered all thermodynamics theory, yes, and there are 3 very hard equations which I couldn't understand, yes. Unfortunately, the teacher is very good. He gave us a list of formulas, so we can use the formula during the test, and we don't have to remember it. But the teacher is very bad too. You know why? Because he asked us to introduce the 3 equations of thermodynamics and explain it. But there are lots of formulas on the list, so we can understand which one is the correct equation of thermodynamics. Yes. So that's the last question of the test, and I just suck. And the next is the accidentally announced calculus test today. And when I arrived at the dorm on Monday morning, and I just got an email from calculus TA, and he told us we have a quiz today for calculus. And yes, I didn't prepare it, and I don't even listen to the lecture of the professor because he's too smart. I can't understand his theory. Yes. And so I just to prepare it yesterday morning and prepare for the calculus all the class I have yesterday. So there's a chemistry class and English class and dental health class. Yes, and all the class I use it to study calculus. Okay. Oh no, that's not English class. It's the general English class. Not Pete's very good English class. Yes. And lastly, I'll move on to the statics test. No, not yesterday. Tomorrow. Yes. I have seen all the lectures, online lectures of the statics, but I didn't do the practice. And the teacher said you have to practice, but I didn't practice. So when I began to study the statics this Monday, I just can't understand the theories and all the questions in the book, and I think that's the hardest time I have been this week because my head just have to bump. Yes. So that's the general overview. That's the general overview of my very hard and tiring week. So if you have a lot of tests to do, please just separate it into few weeks to prepare.
don't like me study until 2 a.m. every day. Yes, thank you.